Take a big breath and let it go. So sitting in an easy, comfortable seat. And just finding a rhythm to the breath. So your own rhythm doesn't have to be my rhythm. Doesn't have to be an overly strong breath. It doesn't have to be forced or long. Just an easy breath that you can keep all the way throughout the practice this evening. Using the breath to keep your focus, keep you present, keep you in the practice. Stop you running away to the distractions that come. It's natural for them to come. That's okay. We just don't want to get attached or pulled away by them. So as they come, just breathe, let them go. All we're asking ourselves to do throughout the practice is try our best to keep focus, try our best to keep the breath, and make sure we're connecting with what we're asking our body to do. So feeling the stretches, engaging when we're asking our body to strengthen, noticing the benefits, absorbing the benefits of the practice. And then after a little bit of time here, we want that breath to become so easy. It's just going to carry on of its own accord throughout the practice. We don't now need to worry about the breath. That's the foundations for what we're going to do this evening. And all the rest is just accessory. And just take the left arm out to the side, reach your right arm up to the sky, bend the right elbow. Just place the hand to the ear and stretch out the left side of the neck. Open out from the ear to the shoulder. You can wriggle those left fingertips even further away so that that stretch becomes a little bit more intense. And then slowly bring the chin into the chest. So you've still got a stretch there into the side of the neck, but we're just taking it towards the back. And then bring the chin back and swap over. Notice as you're swapping how that feels. Take the right arm out, reach the left arm up, just bend the elbow, place the hand over the ear, draw the head down. And then once you find that stretch, just see if those right fingertips want to reach a little bit further out to the side. And then maybe the chin draws in, taking that stretch into the back of the scalenes. So the muscles that hold the shoulders up towards the ears. So the muscles that are a little overactive when we've got a lot on, and we're carrying a lot of stress. And then come back to center. Take your hands to the kneecaps. Take a big inhale, lift tall in your seat, pull the shoulder blades down the back, chin can lift up, start to open into the throat. And then exhale, just round into the upper back. Pull your belly button in, squeeze navel to spine. Inhale, lift forwards, pulling the shoulder blades back, drawing them back, squeezing the shoulder blades together, lifting the chin and the chest. Exhale, rock back. As you rock back as well, you're going to rock off the back of the seat bones. So we start to mobilize around the seat bones, start to massage around the seat bones, and then rock forwards. Inhale. And then exhale. Take one more. So let yourself come forwards on the seat. Lift your chest up, pull the shoulders back. And then exhale, round. I want you to keep that rounded position. Keep that stretch through the back of the shoulder blades. And then instead of just going forwards and backwards, now we're going to come round in circles. So stretch the body all the way over to the left. Take it towards the front and then rock it round to the right. So mobilizing around the seat bones. Just bringing lots of movement into the lower back, the middle back, and the upper back. especially if we've been quite static today. Enjoy a good wriggle around, change direction. Keep the breath going. So remember, just that easy breath running in the background without worry, without too much force or control. Okay, and then come back to center, release the feet. Place your feet to the floor. Just roll your spine all the way down, pulling the belly button in as you roll down to the ground. Reach your arms up to the sky so the palms face towards the bottom of your mat. Bring the knees into a tabletop position. Now I just want you to see if your lower back is lifted. If it is lifted, just slightly pull the tummy in, even if it means the hips lift a little bit, so you feel that engagement into the center of the body. You're going to keep your knees there. You can actually squeeze the knees together so there's some engagement through the inner thighs. And then reach the left arm back overhead and just hold it a couple of inches off the ground. So you should feel the upper abdominals on that left-hand side kicking in, trying to work and stabilize. That left hand then sweep it out to the side until it's directly out to the side of the body, and then bring it back up. Same on the right. Take that right arm back. Keep squeezing your knees. Take that right arm out to the side, and then bring it back up. Once more each side. So take your left arm back. Sweep it all the way around, squeezing the knees, pulling the belly in, and lift it up. Right hand side, arm back. All the way out and around. And back to center. Both hands together, so your thumbs might just touch the nails of the thumbs. Reach your arms overhead. Hold them both a couple of inches off the floor. Squeeze your knees, pull the belly button in, maybe lift the hips ever so slightly. Really find that work in the center of the body. Holding it for 5. Squeeze the knees. 4, 3, 2, 1. Plant your feet to the floor. Reach the arms all the way down by the side. Push your hands into the ground and lift your hips up to the sky. So stretch, open that area we just worked. Push your big toe down. Push the heels of the feet down and lift your hips nice and high. Squeeze the glutes on, so make sure you're strengthening the backs of the legs. If you can't feel it into the back of the legs, really try and push that big toe into the floor. Almost grip the floor with the big toe, and you should feel the hamstrings kick in a little bit more. Then slowly roll the spine down, so 1 vertebrae of the spine rolls down at a time, trying to avoid dropping the back. Carefully, slowly bringing it down to the ground. And then reach for behind the thighs. Just pull yourself all the way up. Cross the legs. Take your hands to the top of the mat and just step back into downward facing dog. So take your time to come back. Stretch the heels out. Give a bit of a pedal around on the feet. You can shake the head out. Just notice if you're clenching in the jaw. Just try and soften that space. Release the back of the neck. Let your head just be a free weight, so you're not controlling, carrying or lifting. Just let the head relax, let the neck relax. And then I want you to pull the belly button in towards the spine, starting by bringing the chin into the chest. Curl the spine forwards, come into a plank position. Rest into that plank, stretch the crown of the head forwards, kick and extend the heels back. So can you lengthen your plank position, reach the crown of the head further forwards, and then pull the belly button back in, take it back to that downward dog. 2 more. If it helps, I want you to visualize and imagine there's a piece of string coming out the back of the shoulder blades, so right in between the shoulder blades. So when you pull the chin into the chest, someone's going to pull that piece of string, and you're going to curl your spine forwards and then come into a plank position. So some of you who I've taught in real life, should we call it, might have had me assist, and imagine me pulling that string in between your shoulder blades, and then take the hips back up to the sky. So I want you to imagine that piece of string right where, if you've got a sports bra, it might cross in the middle. Someone's going to lift that as you roll the spine forwards, coming into a plank position. Easier said than done with one hand. And take your hips back up to the sky. Look towards the hands. Take your right foot, step to the outside of the right hand. Rest your left knee down to the floor and reach the arms up to the sky. Low lunge with a slightly open front foot. So you're not quite in one line. I want you to take that right foot out. So there's a little bit more space for you to come into the hips today. Interlace your hands, hold the back of the head. Take an inhale breath, just open the chest up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, pull the belly button in, round through the spine. Inhale breath. As you round in and pull the navel in, you should get quite a strong stretch through the front of the left hip as well. Inhale. And exhale. Take the hands down towards the floor. Wriggle that right foot forwards a little and then straighten your right leg. So you're on fingertips. Right leg is straight. Weight is in the middle of the mat. So don't let that left hip swing all the way out to the side. See if you can keep the hips nice and central. Inhale, look forwards. Lift the chest. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forwards, extend. Exhale, fold. Two more. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, use the breath to fold. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, use the breath to fold. Bending into that right knee. Both hands stay down. Stretch your right leg back all the way to the back of the room. So you've got 3 points of contact. Both hands, the left knee, and that right heel kicks away. Inhale, look forwards, lift your right heel to the ceiling. And then exhale, pull the knee into the chest. Really try and bring it in close to the elbows. Inhale, kick back. And exhale, round in. Inhale, reach back. And exhale, pull in. Make this one your last one. So stretch that right leg back. Keep your hands pushing down. Tuck the left toes and reach back into a downward dog with that right leg stretching to the sky. If it's too much, just place both feet down. Stretch into downward facing dog. Reaching that right foot back. Imagine someone's got hold of your right foot and they're going to pull it towards the top of the wall behind you. Feel the waist open and lengthen. And then place the right foot next to the left foot. Look towards the top of the mat, towards the hands. Take a big step, left foot outside the left hand and rest the right knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. So slightly open and a little bit wider than we would normally be through the hips. Interlace the hands. Support the back of the head. Take an inhale breath, lift your elbows out to the side, lift and open the chest. Exhale, pull the belly button in, round through the spine, and feel that stretch intensify through the right thigh. Inhale, lift. As you round, tuck the tailbone under as well. So we're not just bringing the chin in, we're trying to tuck the tailbone under. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. From here, you're just going to let the hands come down to the floor. Straighten that front leg. So you may or you may not need to adjust the distance there between the heel and the knee. It just depends how your hamstrings are feeling today. Pull those left toes back. Take an inhale, lift to the fingertips, open the chest. And then as you exhale, maybe you can go a bit further forwards. Take an inhale, lift through the chest, lengthen, open the sides of the waist, and then exhale. 3 more, using the breath in. Even if you feel like you use the breath and you only move a couple of centimeters, that still counts. Movement's going to get bigger and better as you keep practicing. Inhale, lift, and exhale. Push into the hands. Come forwards, just bend that front knee and then keep both hands there. Take your left leg to the back of the mat and kick that left leg back. So our first task is just extending that left leg, keeping the belly in, trying to stay stable and strong here. And then look forwards as you let that left heel lift. Inhale. Exhale, pull knee to chest, round out. Inhale, lift back and lengthen. Exhale, round and pull in. Inhale, lift back and lengthen. Exhale, round and pull in. Final one, stretch that left leg back, look forwards, open the chest. And then tuck your right toes, look to the hands, lift up, 3-leg downward facing dog. So reach your left heel high, push that right heel down, and then that imaginary teacher is behind you. They're going to hold onto your foot and pull your foot back so that you feel the waist open, sides of the body lengthen. Step both feet together. Chin to chest, let's roll forwards into our plank position, pulling the belly in. And then from our plank, rest the knees down to the floor. Bring the upper body all the way down and leave your hands underneath your shoulders. Squeeze your legs together, point the toes. So I want you to find that connection between the inner thighs. Inhale, just lift your shoulders back, open the chest, hardly any pressure in the hands. Exhale, lower it back down. 2 more like that, strengthening the back of the body. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Tuck your toes and just push back into a child's pose. So stretch the body back, open through the spine. If it's better for you, bring your arms down by your side, and then it truly gives you a chance to rest through the shoulders. Sometimes if we keep the arms out, we're still quite tense in the shoulders, so it's nice to really truly relax. Let the weight of the arms sink into the mat. And I just want you to breathe, pushing the rib cage into the thighs. So a big, expansive breath, filling that space, filling the rib cage, filling the belly. Using the breath, slowing the heart rate down, just steadying the body. We'll take 2 more inhale and an exhale. Inhale and an exhale. Okay, if your hands aren't forwards, reach them forwards, push into your hands, rise up to all fours, tuck the toes, take it back into downward facing dog, waist drawing in, heels stretching down, really pushing into the hands to lift back into the shoulders, to lift the hips and the waist. Inhale, your right leg can reach up to the sky. Stretch that right heel as high as you can. So really think height and length through that right leg. Bring the right knee into the chest, step the right foot forwards, push into both feet, rise up, high lunge. So take your time to steady yourself in your high lunge. Find a nice long opening through that left hip. Reach up tall through the arms, really lift. And then take your right hand just to the right hip. Keep quite stable through the lower body. Stretch your left arm over to the right. So balancing through the lower body, just opening out long through that left side of the waist. Breathe in here. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Back to center. Reach both arms up to the sky. Take an inhale. Exhale, take your left arm forwards, right arm back. So you twist over to the right side of the room. Stretch your arms out wide. So really open your chest, reaching those right fingertips back to pull your chest open to the right side of the room. And then inhale, come back to center to that high lunge. Take the right hand back to the waist. See if there's a bit more space to stretch that left arm up and over. And then come back, reach the arms to the sky. Turn your left heel down, left toes out, open into your warrior two, so stretching out. Pull the belly button in, squeeze the glutes on, and then push your feet down, stretch wide across the arms. Take an inhale breath and an exhale breath. Inhale and exhale. Flip your right palm to face the ceiling. Reach that right arm up to the sky before you take it any further back, and then stretch up towards the ceiling and over. So first of all, you start by reaching up, and then we slowly open the right side of the body. Bring it back to warrior two. Straighten both legs and just adjust your feet. So you're going to have to bring them in a little bit closer. I want your toes to be slightly out and your heels in. Sit down into a squat position. So track your knees out. So try not to let them fall in. Try and pull them out. And then bring your forearms to touch. So your forearms are touching in front of you. Now round the upper back, tuck the tailbone under. Inhale, the reverse of that. So stick your tailbone back, open the chest. Exhale, tailbone under, elbows, forearms, hands to touch. Inhale, we open. Exhale, we round. So quite a lot of work through the legs to balance. As we open the upper body, take two more. Inhale. And exhale. Belly in, tailbone tuck, glutes squeeze on. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Straighten both legs. Turn the left toes to the back of the mat. The right heel turns, right toes to face the side, and sit into warrior two to the back. So position yourself there. Adjust the feet as you need to. You don't have to fix them in space. You also don't have to have, some of you may have been told otherwise, some yoga teachers tell you to line your heels up perfectly. I think we're all very different and it really doesn't matter. So don't sweat the small stuff. Just push into the feet. As long as you feel stable and strong through the lower body, that's all that matters. Take the hands down to the instep of your left foot. Just turn and lower your right knee down to the floor. So we're in this low lizard lunge to the back of the mat. Right knee rested. And you can stay on your hands to start with. Just relax the head down. Relax the back of the neck. Opening through that right hip. And then what I want you to do is walk your hands out to the side. So both hands off to the right side. And then walk them away. So you're stretching in a slightly different angle than we normally would. We'd normally just fold straight forwards towards the mat. Just want us to play with stretching in slightly different directions. This should be quite juicy around the hips. Front of the right hip. And then bring the hands back in. Lift your right knee off the floor, so just tuck those right toes. Walk all the way around to the top of your mats. So your hands face the top, and then just step back into downward facing dog. See how that feels through the legs, through the hips, through the shoulders. Have a bit of a move around, a little bit of a wriggle. Take an inhale breath, roll forwards to your plank. Keep the arms straight, either drop the knees and then the hips, or just lower the knees. If you have that in your practice, it's a bit stronger through the arms, but either way, we're just finding a nice back bend. Squeeze the glutes there just to support and stabilize. And then we take it back into that downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe it out. Breathe in and breathe out. Your left leg, sweep it up towards the ceiling. Reach that left leg high as you can. So big long extension through that left side. Pull the knee in. Can you step forwards without a sound? Push into both feet and rise up to your high lunge. So wriggle around, get nice and stable, nice and steady. Try not to have that right hip way over to the right side. I want you to try and think about pulling that right hip forwards and your left hip slightly back so that both hip bones shoot forwards. Arms up, lift up through the chest, and then take your left hand to the left side of the waist. Try not so much to collapse into that left side, but instead reach your right arm over and find a slight stretch. So you might actually feel that you're lifting up plenty, and that's all you need to stretch. It might only be a couple of inches that you actually side bend over to that left side. And come back to center. Take both arms up, steady yourself again, just find your balance. And then your left arm comes back, right arm twists forwards. Big twist through the center of the body. So we're trying to pull all the way around through the center. Big twist through the spine. Stretch those arms wide. And then come back, reach up into your high lunge. Left hand to the left hip again, just another side bend over to the left. Stretch out that right side. And bring it back to center. Adjust your feet, take a warrior two. So right toes out, left knee bends, get comfortable. Squeeze your glutes on, pull your waist in, stretch the arms out. Lift the crown of your head. Take a big inhale breath. And a big exhale breath. Big inhale breath. And exhale breath. Flip your left palm to face the ceiling. First of all, just reach straight up to the ceiling. That's enough to open your left side. And then maybe there's a slight back bend towards the right side of the body. And then come back to your warrior two. Straighten both legs. This time I want you to turn both toes in and have your heels slightly out. Take your hands to your lower back. Lift your thighs up, so contract up through the quadriceps. And then I want you to tilt the body forwards, but see if you can keep the back straight to start with. You're trying to tilt the spine forwards, nice straight line. Once you can't keep the back straight any longer, just let your hands come to the floor and then let the body fold down. So coming down nice and safe through the spine, lifting through the hips. Moving, a strong practice this evening, but trying to move really slow so you really feel what we're asking our body to do. You really feel those little openings and little opportunities to release, to stretch. You're not just rushing through anything. Well, hopefully we never rush, but in particular, not rushing this evening. And then turn your right toes to the back of the mat. Just want you to turn and lower. Bring the left knee down so you're looking to the back of the room. Your hands to the mat, your head and neck relaxed. In that low lizard to the back of the mat. Another chance just to see and ask yourself, are you clenching the jaw or gripping the tongue to the roof of the mouth? That's so much unnecessary tension that travels into the neck and the shoulders. So even the simplest little release around the jaw can have big effect into the upper back. Let's walk your hands over to the left hand side and then away from the body, just changing the angle of stretch there through the hips. Take a good few breaths. Okay, and then hands back in. Tuck your left toes off the floor. Lift that left knee and in some way, shape or form, walk it back to the top of the mat. And we're going to step our left foot back into a downward facing dog. So we're stretching the hips up, lifting through the waist, opening that space between the rib cage and the top of the hips, really lengthening and opening. And then just rest your knees to the floor. Keep your toes tucked and walk the hands back in. So I want you to keep the toes tucked so we get a delightful stretch through the soles of the feet, shall we say. And then take your right hand to the hip, reach the left arm up. We'll take another side bend, stretch, open that side, and then bring it back. Swap left hand to the hip, right arm up, stretch it over, and then come back to center. Bring the hands into the chest, interlace the fingers and push them away. Reach your arms up to the sky, tilt the tailbone back, look up to the ceiling, slight back bend. And then you're going to round, chin in, tummy in, curl through the back. 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. Nice, slow, controlled way to back bend. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more because I forgot where we're up to. Inhale. And exhale. Bring your hands forwards. Just release out your feet. So if you need to pat your feet to the floor, wiggle them out. Give the toes a bit of a wriggle around. And then step your feet forwards. Come into a forward fold and just relax heavy. So bend your knees. I want your belly to rest on the thighs. So I don't want this big open space. I want you to feel like you're supported by the thighs. So it's almost like a standing child's pose. I want you to be able to rest the shoulders, the head and the neck, all the upper body, all that weight, pressure. Just let it fold forwards. Let it be light. Two more breaths in. Exhale out. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Before we come up, just bring your feet together. Squeeze the knees, the ankles, the inner thighs, and then taking your time, belly button in, curling up through the back. As you curl up, can you keep the upper body in nice and close towards the center line so we don't throw it out? I want us to keep it nice and close, like that slinky I sometimes mention when we're in our Pilates classes. And then standing, open the palms to face up, open the chest, close the eyes, standing in a nice tall Tadasana. See if you can find even more height, even more space across the chest. Take a couple of breaths. Just notice how you feel across the shoulders, through the hips, the front of the thighs. And then bring the hands into prayer heart center. Take a little soft bend to the knees. You're going to tilt forwards at the hips and kick that right leg back. So we come into our warrior 3 balance. Don't have to go too far forwards. If you can, think about whether you can keep that right hip so it faces down towards the floor so that we're not too tempted to kick that right hip out to the side. And then without dropping the right foot down, come to standing, bring your right knee into the chest. Take the left hand to the outside of the right thigh, reach your right arm forwards first of all, and then lift up and open it all the way to the back of the room for a twist. Pull that right shoulder back, let your left shoulder come forwards. And then again, not dropping the right knee. So just hold the right knee in space there. Bring the hands into prayer. Keep that bend in the right knee. Pull the right toes back towards the knee. So your heel is about to drive down. And then you're going to look forwards. Keep the chest lifted. Just kick that right leg behind you. There's a bend in the knee. And you're just kicking it back, leading with the heel so that we get loads of strength in that posterior chain. You can stay there if you want a bit more. Hands in prayer, reach them up to the sky, elbows bend, and try and take your hands towards your heel. Quite, and when I say that, don't worry if you feel like there's a bazillion meters between your hands and your heel, because that's perfectly normal. And then place that right foot down. Take your arms down by the side, just standing again into Tadasana. Exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. Okay, other side, hands to prayer. Little bend in the knees. Right knee takes the weight, right leg takes the weight. Just going to send that left leg back, come into a balance. So even if you literally tilt the chest a foot forwards and the heel a foot back, that's fine. That's not where the work comes. The work is, can we lift up through that right hip? Worry about the depth of the balance later on. It's not important. Keeping the breath and keeping your balance is what's important. Not what the shape looks like, no one can see. Okay, coming to standing, bringing that left knee in. Right hand holds outside of the left knee. Start by reaching your left arm forwards and then stretch that left arm up to the ceiling. Unravel and open through that left side. Take the left hand back. I apologize that my head and my hands, I think, are cut off in the picture, but I explained before, I can't work out where I had my camera set up before, so the picture was better. But I had a move around in my room today and I can't seem to get things back to normal. And then slowly bring it back. Keep that left knee in space. Bring your hands into prayer. And then pull those left toes back to the face. Kick your left leg back behind you. So big, strong back bend, but a safe back bend, because we're just using our strength to find it. We can't force anything because we've not got the ground or a wall or anything like that to push the foot into. So it's purely our strength fighting gravity to find that back bend. If you want more, taking the arms up back behind you to open the chest and visualize and dream that one day the hands meet the heel. And then release. Arms down by the side. Close the eyes. Stand nice and tall. Big breaths into the chest. Inhale. Exhale. Let that settle. And then drop the chin in. Slowly round forwards. So the reverse of our roll up before. Let the arms be heavy. Pull the belly button in as you roll down. Knees can soften if that helps. Slowly, carefully, bringing the hands down to the floor. Let the hands take the weights and just find a seat. And then I'm going to twist to face you so you can see where we're going. One leg out, leg in. So take your right leg out, then we're all going the same way. Left foot in. Take your right hand to the outside of the left thigh. Reach your left arm up. Now try not to let your body come forwards. As you reach your left arm up, look to the ceiling and stretch that left side of the body open. I want you to imagine someone's pulling that left hand way beyond your right toes. Stretch and reach out through those left fingertips. If you can't feel the stretch in the left side of the body, in the lower back, the waist, the rib cage, just look up towards the ceiling and open that chest a little bit more. Should be quite strong. Should be a good opening through the side of the waist. Okay, and then we'll slowly come back. Take your time. Just notice how that feels from side to side. I always feel like I'm so open on one side, I'm almost wonky. Swap over, take your left leg out, bring the right leg in. And this time your left hand is going to hold the outside of that right thigh. Right arm reaches up, right rib cage, chest, heart stays open. Right arm comes all the way over. We open that right side. Big stretch, so reach out through those right fingertips. If your left tricep is to the inner thigh, you can actually use that to spiral the heart open. I don't know how easy that is to see on a camera as opposed to being in a real life studio, but the idea is that you're just trying to lift and open that chest. So can you open the rib cage even more towards the ceiling? So if I was with you teaching in person, imagine me putting my hand on your rib cage and opening and lifting your rib cage to the ceiling. Okay, and then slowly come up. Oh, feeling nice and long in both sides of the body. Just swing your feet to the top of the mat if they aren't there, and roll down towards the ground. Option for a back bend if you feel like you've had enough. We've done quite a lot of opening and stretching. So if you feel like you've had enough, just rest with the knees out to the side. If you want to take a back bend, 2 options. Should be nice and warm. So you can either just come up, push into the hands, push into the feet, find a nice big opening there through the hips. You can stay here, pushing the feet down, lifting the glutes. If you want to take your hands, maybe Lauren, and push all the way up, then you can do so. Imagine sending your chest up and away on a big high diagonal line. So send your chest up to the top of the wall behind you if that's where you're going. Drive your big toe down, Lauren. Lift your hips. Send your tailbone long. If you're in a bridge with the shoulders on the floor, see if you can also send your tailbone long. Feel those glutes squeeze on a little bit more. And then we'll all very carefully roll it down to the floor from the shoulders, through the middle back, through the lower back, towards the sacrum and the tailbone. Walk your feet out and let your knees rest in. And then just take your arms out to the side. Nice big stretch still through the front of the body. Breathe into the chest. Big nourishing breath. Hopefully feeling a lot lighter through the upper body, the chest, the shoulders, and the upper back. If there is anywhere that still feels heavy, weighed down, and I want you to use a big few powerful exhale breaths to get rid of that. So breathe in through the nose, sigh out through the mouth, another one in through the nose, out through the mouth, and then bring the hands to rest on the belly. If your legs are comfortable there and you'd like to keep them there, that's okay. If you want to, you can stretch your legs out to the far corners of the mat for Shavasana. Let your toes just turn out. So the hips release and relax. With the hands on the belly, just notice that easy rhythm to the breath. Physically settled. Feeling balanced. Feeling grounded, so where the head, the shoulders, the hips, calves rest down into the ground, there's no resistance, there's no reason to hold or carry. You can completely surrender into that space. Notice the connection of the breath and the body, the breath and the movements. Notice how the body softens with the out breath. And then however you like, you might want to roll over onto your right hand side, or you can just bring your knees into the chest, give yourself a hug. In some way, shape or form, you're going to make your way up to a seat with the eyes closed if you can. So just resist the temptation to see what's going on. Nothing will have changed around you. So try and keep the eyes closed. Rest your hands on the knees. Notice, hopefully, a taller seat, lighter through the shoulders, around the chest and the neck. Bring a smile to the face. And then bring your hands into prayer. Rest your chin into the chest. Just thank yourself for giving up an hour to practice this evening. Namaste.